Okay, so just when the entire industry was trying to wrap its head around the whole Warner Bros. Discovery and Netflix situation.
Which was a shockwave in
A
itself.
huge shockwave. Everyone thought that was the big story for the year. But now a new, and I would argue an even more disruptive alliance has just emerged.
Mm-hmm.
And this one isn't about, consolidation or who's winning the streaming wars. It's about a massive collision between tech and content.
Driven by generative AI.
Exactly. We are talking about Walt Disney Co. betting a staggering $1 billion on OpenAI. So our mission today is to go way beyond that dollar figure. Okay, let's unpack this. We need to understand how this deal, which is built around OpenAI's Sora platform, their text-to-video tool,
Right.
how this deal could fundamentally rewrite the rules of content creation and what that means for you, whether you're a viewer, a creator, or an investor.
What's fascinating here is just the sheer magnitude of it and the commitment.
It's not a small experiment.
No, this is not Disney just dipping a toe in the water. I mean, the source material confirms this is a major 9-figure equity investment, $1 billion.
Into the company that basically defined this whole AI era with ChatGPT.
Exactly. So this just instantly transforms the conversation from, all this speculation about AI in Hollywood
Theorizing.
to a concrete multi-year licensing deal. A deep integration project. This is a very high-stakes test case, and it's happening in the most visible arena possible.
Let's drill down into the money first, because the structure of the deal is, it's a bit more complex than just a simple cash transfer.
It is.
The sources confirmed this $1 billion is an equity investment, so Disney now actually owns a piece of OpenAI.
That's right. And to sort of reinforce that partnership, Disney also gets warrants to buy more shares of OpenAI down the line.
Okay, so for anyone listening who isn't, deep in corporate finance, what do warrants actually mean here?
They're essentially an option for Disney to increase their stake in the future. It's at a pre-agreed price, so if OpenAI's value just skyrockets,
Which it probably will.
they can buy in at a much better price. It really ties their long-term financial success directly together. It's much more than just a typical customer relationship.
That structural part feels key. Disney isn't just buying software, they're buying a piece of the future. They're sort of hedging their bets, maybe, against waiting too long to build their own AI.
Exactly. But, even more immediately relevant than the equity piece is the customer part of the deal.
Right.
This deal demands immediate internal tech changes for Disney.
So while the big billion-dollar headline is about the future, the agreement really forces Disney to become a major OpenAI customer right now, across their whole business.
Yes, their whole business structure.
So we're not just talking about animators getting a cool new toy. What does that internal deployment actually look like?
It looks like a massive push for technological efficiency. Disney will be using OpenAI's APIs.
The application programming interfaces.
Right, which means they're building OpenAI's tech directly into their own internal systems. And, crucially, they're deploying ChatGPT for their employees across the globe.
When you think about a company as vast as Disney, with so much history, that has to have immediate effects in, the non-creative areas, too.
Oh, absolutely. Think about their legal and archival departments. Disney's IP library is, almost a century deep now?
Contracts, production notes, everything.
Exactly. So training an internal version of ChatGPT on that colossal data set, that could instantly streamline legal reviews, automate market research, or help writers just rapidly index lore before starting a new project.
So it's about saving time and money everywhere. From the marketing team trying to pull ad data to a lawyer making sure a new Star Wars show doesn't, violate some agreement from 1982.
It's a full-scale commitment to changing how Disney does business. For you, the listener, if you're in an industry that's dealing with cost pressures or information overload, this whole internal deployment signals that AI is now a tool for fundamental organizational efficiency.
Not just a flashy gimmick.
Not at all. Disney's prioritizing operational fitness right alongside creative innovation. And that really sets the stage for the big creative leap.
Which is what everyone is really talking about, the generative video platform.
Right. The centerpiece of this whole thing is a 3-year licensing deal, and it's focused entirely on Sora.
OpenAI's text-to-video platform.
And this is where the deal gets culturally volatile.
So let's be really clear about what Sora is supposed to be doing here. It's meant to generate short, user-prompted social videos. Is that correct?
That's the official line, yeah. You essentially give the AI a text prompt, a description, and it renders a high-quality short video clip. We've all seen the demos.
The demos are stunning. Really photorealistic stuff.
They are. But this deal gives Sora a real purpose by tying it to the most valuable entertainment library in history.
And this is where it gets really interesting because these videos aren't just, generic clips. They will draw on more than 200 Disney, Marvel, Pixar, and Star Wars characters.
An immense trove of IP.
We're talking Luke Skywalker, Mickey Mouse, Iron Man, Woody, all of them, all potentially being used as inputs for this generative experiment.
It's unprecedented. When you license a character like Captain America, there's just an immense history of continuity, of legal controls, of fan expectations that goes with him.
Sure.
So allowing an AI to create new little narrative snippets with these characters prompted by who knows who, that's a massive shift in how IP is controlled.
So just to play this out, if I prompt Sora to create a video of Grogu eating a giant space taco on Endor.
A very popular prompt, I'm sure.
And it generates a clip. That clip is using licensed IP. And the sources say that some of these videos will actually stream on Disney Plus Rem. That tells me they see these as professional content.
They do, and this is that fascinating duality we talked about. On one hand, it's a valuable outlet for fan creativity. It builds engagement.
But on the other hand,
it's a crucial, low-risk way for Disney to test new programming concepts. I mean, we know that creating even a short animated pilot costs millions and takes months.
So with Sora, they can test reactions to things almost instantly.
Exactly. Test the tone, character dynamics, whatever.
Okay, but that sounds like a brilliant way to cut costs. But isn't testing market reaction with a, short AI social video fundamentally different than testing a multi-million-dollar film script? The stakes are just not the same.
That is the $1 billion question, isn't it? And that's why it's only a 3-year experiment to start. The sources are clear that movies are notoriously expensive, so these experiments are a strategic play towards lowering the cost of entry for new ideas.
So if they can use Sora to refine a character's look or test a tiny plot point before hiring human animators and writers.
That is massive capital efficiency.
And I have to assume, given how sensitive this IP is, there are some pretty strict guardrails built into the deal.
Absolutely critical guardrails. The agreement explicitly commits both companies to the responsible use of AI. It's about protecting the rights of creators and the safety of users. That's mandatory when you're dealing with this kind of IP and, frankly, a very anxious creative workforce.
So let's synthesize this. What are the strategic drivers? Why this bet, and why now? For Disney, it sounds like the motivation comes right from the top, from Bob Iger.
It does. He sees this as an evolutionary necessity. He said, technological innovation has continually shaped the evolution of entertainment,
bringing with it new ways to create and share stories with the world.
That quote really frames this deal as Disney trying to catch up. Maybe not leading, but certainly refusing to be left behind.
So the goal is threefold. Test generative AI, cut costs with internal ChatGPT, and tie Disney's future to the leader in the space.
Exactly. That $1 billion is basically the price of an insurance policy to make sure they stay relevant in the next tech cycle.
It's an interesting calculation, though. Buying into OpenAI instead of investing that billion into building their own proprietary AI, why outsource such a core function?
Because the clock is ticking. Iger has to deliver a turnaround after those streaming losses, and the AI arms race is just moving too fast. Building a foundational model like Sora internally would take years and billions more.
So they're buying the shortcut.
They're buying the shortcut, they get the tech, the experts, and the system maintenance without having to divert their core business away from storytelling.
Okay, so what about OpenAI? They're already a powerhouse, thanks to ChatGPT. How does this massive deal help Sora specifically?
This deal is transformative for Sora's perception, and OpenAI needs the credibility. They need the real-world use case, and they need that high bar set by Disney IP to really push what professional-level content can be. It's an evolution out of necessity for both of them.
A strategic pivot this big, though. Tying classic, irreplaceable IP to an AI generator that is bound to cause some friction.
It has.
We've already seen the anxiety in the industry bubbling up.
We have. The sources are very clear that this move is likely to sound some alarm bells in Hollywood when you're explicitly talking about using AI to test concepts and cut costs.
The implication for the creative workforce is pretty direct.
It is. For the writers, the animators, the directors who specialize in bringing these characters to life, it is immediately a major source of concern.
It creates a tremendous amount of anxiety, I'd imagine, both inside Disney and across the whole production world. It suggests a future where maybe the starting point for creation isn't a storyboard sketch, but a text prompt.
Exactly. For a visual medium like animation or visual effects, this raises almost existential questions about jobs. If Sora can generate social clips that are good enough, does that slowly erode the need for junior artists, for those entry-level roles that handle that kind of high-volume, short-form content?
The anxiety is about creative displacement.
It is, not just efficiency.
So that's the internal creative perspective.
Yeah.
But what about the external financial market? How did they react to Disney making this huge controversial bet?
And the contrast is stark. It often is, between Wall Street and Hollywood.
Right.
While the industry is sounding those alarm bells, the financial reaction was one of quick, clear approval. Disney stock, which is DIS, rose 2.4% on the news Thursday.
That is a very concrete signal. So investors were not scared off by the controversy.
Not at all. Or the billion-dollar price tag. It just demonstrates that investors are, by and large, applauding the long-term thinking here. They're valuing the potential for efficiency, for massive cost savings, and future growth tied to AI leadership.
Over the internal creative anxieties.
Way over. The market is signaling that this level of experimentation is necessary for survival. They see this as Iger securing Disney's future against competitors who might embrace AI even faster.
This has been a fascinating deep dive. To quickly summarize the core takeaway for you, this deal is so much more than a collaboration. It's a huge $1 billion equity investment, and it's paired with a 3-year licensing deal for Sora. This lets Disney use over 200 classic characters from Marvel, Pixar, and Star Wars to generate short, user-prompted social videos. And some of those will even stream on Disney Plus Star.
It's a huge step.
By doing this, Disney gets that crucial internal efficiency. They get to test cost-cutting, and they give OpenAI the ultimate professional validation that Sora needs. It's a brilliantly smart move that really pushes the envelope for content creation everywhere.
And this raises an important question for you to consider as this whole creative space evolves, especially when you're dealing with these beloved, established characters. The source material notes the deal gives fans a valuable outlet for creativity by letting them prompt the AI. So if a user prompts Sora to create that short video using Star Wars characters, and that video then gets streamed on Disney Plus as official content, who is the true creator? Who owns that output?
Is it the user who wrote the prompt?
Or the company that licensed the IP? Or is it the AI platform that actually generated the visuals? That fundamental challenge of attribution, of ownership of the entire creative chain, that is what the industry has to grapple with now, as AI moves from being a novelty to a genuine production partner.